Dear students of B.sc Part 1 and respected listener, a very good afternoon and welcome all of you to today's lecture. Dear students of B.sc Part 2, I am going to deliver today the rate of the reaction which is selected from B.sc Part 1, selected from Unit 5th, titled as that is of Chemical Kinetics, selected from Paper 3 Physical Chemistry. Dear students, I bring to draw your kind immediate notice on our previous lecture to define about that is of chemical kinetics. Chemical kinetics, that is the branch of the chemistry which is mainly concerned the rate of the reaction mechanism, concentration with respect to time. Such branch of the chemistry is known as that is of chemical kinetics. We have also expressed in our previous lecture chemical kinetics depending on important, that is of fundamental quantity, that is of rate of the reaction. In order to define the rate of the reaction or velocity of the reaction, once again I repeat our previous lecture in which velocity, what is the distinction between velocity of the reaction and velocity. In physics you have studied about velocity, that the change in displacement or distance with respect to time is known as that is of velocity. In the case of velocity of the reaction, distance, displacement will be replaced by that is of here, that is of concentration here. I mean to see here the rate of in any chemical reaction, in any that is of a chemical reversible reaction here, that is of the rate of change of either of concentration, either of reactant or product with respect to time is known as that is of a rate of the reaction here. Dear students, in our previous lecture we have defined. Now let us proceed today's lecture. In our previous lecture, when a graph is plotted between concentration and the timing here, you know kinetic curve will start for reactant into that is of jump direction, upward direction, maximum point, because the concentration of reactant passes initially very high, while in the case of product C and D to passes that is of low concentration here. Now suppose for the reactant A, B and C and D, products A, suppose concentration we denote here concentration of A, concentration of B, concentration of C, and that is of concentration of D. You know in our previous lecture the fundamental as progress of the reaction as reactions move in forward direction where reactants react with each other. In such a position, you know concentration of the reactant decrease, I mean to say negative sign will be used here. Here in our previous reversible reaction, negative sign for reactants A and B will be used here. In the case of C and D products, in such a position the concentration in kinetic, it is evident from kinetic work yesterday's I have plotted on the blackboard here concentration of C and D increase in such a position, plus positive sign will be used here. Let us try to understand in that mathematical form what will be the value of rate of A, that is of rate of B. Now let us discuss to describe about the various methods, various formula. What are the methods, what are the ways, formula to represent that is of velocity of the reaction here, rate of the reaction A, here rate of A decreasing, that is of concentration of A, rate of concentration decreasing concentration of A, time taken for changing the concentration here. So decreasing in concentration of A denotes here that is of reactant, I mean to say negative sign will be used here. Here second one that is of time taken for changing, that is of concentration here, that is of dt, say that is of equation number 2 here. I mean to say that is of negative sign will be used here. Since A and B both are that is of reactant and simultaneously the concentration of A and B decrease, the same concept will be applicable, same theory will be applicable for that is of reactant B here. Minus dCB upon dt upon that T, say that is of equation number 3. Now let us derive the formula to express about that is of product, that is of C and D here. Here that is of as progress of the reactions, as reactions undergo forward direction in such a position, the concentration of C and D that is of increase here. So I mean to say, dear students of B.sc Part 1, positive sign will be used here, plus dCC upon dt, say that is of equation number 3. Since C and D both are that is of product here, to increase the concentration and plus dCd upon dt, say that is equation number 4 here. D upon dt, the mathematical symbol process for changing here. It was the first case in that is of suppose we are using reactant product in the form of concentration, simple that is of concentration here. Suppose next one case I am going to discuss among the students. Suppose we are using here reactant and product. In the case of here that is of In terms of that is of active mass here, what will be the formula of that is of rectangle and product of the velocity here? Since we know that active mass according to that is of law of mass section, good work on that Vargas laws here. Active mass for any rectangle and product number of present in unity volume is known as that is of active mass, and one can denote it that in the form of large bracket here, minus same for reactant, the same conception, the same theory will be applicable here, minus d active mass upon dt minus that is of dB upon that is of dt, since plus dc upon dt plus dcd upon dt act here as that is of product to increase the concentration, and by putting down into the bracket c and d, one can use here plus that is of plus dcc upon dt plus dcd upon dt. The formula of that is of rate of the reactions of A, B, C and D. Now, let's discuss, before discussing its next case in mid of the reaction, let us discuss about dimension and unit of the reaction, very important. And dear student, dimension and unit of reacts here, that's here dimension and that is of units. Students get confused about dimension and unit. My questions to all the students of B.sc part 1, what is the dimension of rate of the reaction? What is the unit of rate of the reaction? Student confused, cross the reply in the examination to the concerning teachers in the classroom. They don't know about exact meaning of dimension and unit. We will discuss tomorrow in that is of rate, dimension and that is of unit of rate of the reactions tomorrow. Thank you very much.